That's I Write the Songs by Barry Manilow. Okay, that's the introduction to today's topic, which is a book that I was given to transcribe. And, well, it's called A Good Hook, and it's available by Bob Burrows on Amazon in the Kindle ebook edition. You can go and take a look see and get a free sample if you want. And at one point, I was given that little bit of that song. I write the songs, I write the songs. And that was quoted by, well, let's just say God. Okay, so as far as the scripts that we're running here on planet Earth, um, we have got insane people who are driven by the fear that is going around about the COVID-19 coronavirus. They are not willing to listen to anything other than it's real, it's here, and it's gonna kill me. And I would rather lock you up, I'm pointing at me, lock you up in jail than have you contaminate me. Forced quarantines because someone on the someone somewhere set this up, teed it all up, that we're going to have the media create a circus, pandemic, in other words, a panic demonic, and we're going to use television, lie vision to incite Nazi fascist tendencies in people driven mad by fear. Did God write the script for this? Yes, God wrote the script for this so that you could basically look at it and say, I never read George Orwell's 1984. Maybe it's time. Or I never watched the Wachowski brothers / sisters movie, The Matrix. Maybe it's about time. I never watched Network, a 1976 movie about a network host that loses it. I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore, is his exact quote. We are unable to break into anything other than we've gone squarely. The old Buddhist saying is, this too will pass. However, I have seen this cycle. It's a cycle of abuse. Why? Because it's abusive to people like me to have insane people take over my life by telling everyone, you stay home in quarantine, because I've been watching this TV show. They call it the news, but the corporations that run the news are entertainment corporations, and they make horror movies. And you can go to the movie or go to Netflix and it says horror on it. But the news is labeled as reality. So it's treated separately by insane people's minds as being, this involves you. This hat we call Why, as in the John Mayer song, Why, Georgia, Why? And the answer is, well, it's Christopher Isherwood, the novelist, and if this world is in the middle of a great story, and I think it's been overplayed and overused, we need someone to yank out the pen from who's ever writing this script again and again and again. It's the International Red Cross, and we've arrived, and we don't really want to tell you, but we don't really want to do anything with your coronavirus, COVID-19 virus, because, well, we're not paid enough to deal with insane people who have let fear drive them to the point where they're willing to shoot other human beings rather than be in the same general vicinity of them. In other words, they're willing to treat everyone else as a zombie and shoot them. In other words, you have got people who are dangerous, and these fear driven people need to be isolated. I suggest reopening an old psychiatric home and locking them in. Okay, this is Mr. Dakota, and the Dakotas are known for indigenous wisdom. The Lakota people in the Dakotas, what do the indigenous people want to tell you? They say, look down, way down. And what do you see? This is a giant tower, an enormous tower. Okay, and I just have to, okay. So what does it mean, a giant tower? This is maybe a tarot card. And the way that I talk about the tarot card called the Tower, um, I can't keep returning to Dr. Stuart Wilde, Mr. Wilde for most of us, but he's a doctor of philosophy. And when it comes to the tower, it's always about ego, ego, ego. And, you know, the biggest enormous ego is at the top of this tower, where he looks far and wide over everything that's there. But he's isolated at the top of the tower. And he's an ego because he is separate from all of the rest of the things. What happens to people in the tower? What happens to people in the tower is either they're locked up there, it's like the Tower of London, and you know, the Queen didn't like you and sent you up there to the tower to be kept under guard. It could be that you're in the tower because you're a tourist looking at the crown jewels. It could be because you don't enjoy being involved with people at all, and you just like to be up in your tower, and you can order pizza up to the top of your tower, and you know, you leave $20 outside your door and you just yell through the door, just leave the pizza there, take your $20, thank you for delivering it, and can you come back with some toilet paper for me? Insignificant as it is, you don't really know what happens in the tarot cards after you've drawn the tower. The tarot is a series of, let's call them scenes in a movie. And originally, you didn't shuffle the scenes like they were individual cards. So the Fool traveled through the tarot deck in a certain order. And the card that follows this one is known as the Fool on the Grass. In other words, the person whose enormous ego built the tower and stuck themselves at the top of the tower. Something happens in the action scene where they go from being way up here at the top of the tower to down here at the bottom, and we call that the Fool on the Grass. They have been freed one way or another from being the insane ego at the top of this tower, and now they are laughing their ass off, the Fool on the Grass, because they look back and they said, that was me, the jackass up at the top there, living in my one-room, tip of the top tower place where I was driven crazy by myself. Inducting yourself into a rescue mode for people who are crazy at the top of the tower is stupid. So we're not going to go and rescue those people. In fact, we're going to let them starve. They'll starve so much that the delivery man won't deliver anymore. I keep calling and the line's busy, so I'm going to have to come down on the elevator all the way down here and walk out among the other people and look for something to eat. So that's basically what we're at now. The people in quarantine, some people have hoarded food, 6 months of survivalist mentality. I'm going to live in my own little cabin. God help you if you're in the United States and Texas, where everyone's got a 38 special in their glove compartment in their car and a double-barreled shotgun um, loaded right next to the front door, because when the mailman shows up and the dog barks, someone's going to kick open the door and blow the mailman's head off. I'm rubbing my nose. Is it a sign that I'm infected? In the end, I'll finish off this segment about the tower and tell you, you are also involved in a giant karma play. And the karma play is, where are you going to go after you're done your stint here with the tower card? Are you going to become a fool on the grass? Or are you going to go sailing out here with the sailboats? I think this is a big baseball game, the Sky Dome, it used to be called, in Toronto. This is Toronto, Canada. Anyway, it is a karmic issue because all of you were brought to 3D version of planet Earth to work out your karmas with other people. And these are the ones you generally get into fights with: your wife, your husband, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your best friend, or maybe the mailman. And in the end, if you can't work out your karmas because the other people are insane and they're at the top of the tower their whole life, then you have got to declare, I did my best, and I refuse to come back to 3D Earth to deal with this asshole again for another lifetime. So, that's basically what you have got to tell whoever's on the other side of, the curtain of death. You've got to tell them, you stupid motherfucker, I am not going back into your karmic world to redeal the cards again and again and again. If you want to deal your own cards and go there, I'm going to push you through the portal that takes you back to planet Earth. And I'm going to lock the door and lock you in there, you stupid motherfucker. And I will not have it any other way. I have been dealing with assholes my whole life. And tell you the truth, you are a bigger asshole than this jackass here. And that's what you need to know, because on the other side of dropping the body through a death scene is a lord of karma. Somebody there who is going to tell you, you didn't do a good enough job. This is known as gaslighting, and that is one of your earth lessons. So if there's someone gaslighting and saying you didn't do a good enough job in this lifetime, you got to do another one, it's time you say, you gaslighting motherfucker, you go, you go, you go, you go, you go. And then you give them the finger, and then you say, if you step near me, I'm going to punch you in the nose and I'm going to kick you in the balls. That's your karmic update. I'm Jackie McFlayton for Capital A Asshole Incorporated. All right, it's Christopher again. So you can see that tensions are rising among the population on planet Earth, and people basically had it because this has been seen with Zika, SARS, all these other names of diseases, communicable diseases, and we don't want them no more. So it's time to quit. We have done this chapter. Moving along.